tension settings for quilt frame machines, and these can be applied to just about any quilt frame machine. The ones that you actually put onto a table and you move the machine around on the quilt. That is a quilt frame machine. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our bobbin case, okay, and describe a little bit about it. This screw right here is your tension regulating screw, and that screw applies pressure onto this flat spring, which then applies pressure to your thread. This screw here is just for holding this flat spring on. So the tension regulating screw is here, and I'm going to show you how you can set the bobbin case tension correctly and give you the fewest amount of thread problems on this bobbin case. So first thing we're going to do, if you notice this, not all of them will have this little thread guide right here, or we call it the pigtail, but occasionally they do, and you should always thread that in there. It keeps the bobbin thread straight below your needle plate, and you'll get a nicer stitch. Your bobbin, when you're looking at your bobbin and you pull the bobbin thread, your bobbin should always turn clockwise. It lessens the likelihood that you'll have a problem with your thread tension, but there is no hard, fast rule that it has to go that way. It just increases the odds that you're going to have a problem if you do it the opposite direction. And if you'll notice, the bobbin fills the entire circumference of the bobbin case, and it's just slightly below flush on the bobbin side, down inside the bobbin case. So that's a proper fitting bobbin. I'm pulling on this also to make sure I don't feel any snagging or hanging, which I don't, which means my bobbin case is not out of shape or out of round. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to set the tension in our bobbin case. For this part of the bobbin case tension setting, we're going to make sure we undo this thread guide. Okay, so we just have this side. So if I put my bobbin case in the palm of my hand and I lift, you see I can easily lift the thread, the whole bobbin case with a full spool, or at least 3/4 full of thread. I can lift it right off of my hand. So that is too tight. Although it doesn't feel like it's real tight there, it is too tight. And if you have your bobbin thread tension too high, you have to compensate with your upper thread tension setting to make it too tight. And then you have both threads too tight, although you can still get the knot to meet in the middle of the fabric, where they cross over each other. The problem is they'll be too tight. If they're too tight, you're going to have thread breakage issues. You're going to be flexing your needle because the thread is too tight. As you move the machine, the thread is going to pull the needle, and it's going to strike your needle plate or your hook or anything below the bob or the needle plate. So what you want to make sure of is that this is set to a standard first, and this will work for any thread on any of the quilt frame machines. So you don't have to be afraid of adjusting your bobbin thread tension. Normally I tell everybody get 2 bobbin cases, one that you will adjust this screw for different threads, and then one that you will get set for the thread that you use virtually always, and that way both your bobbin cases will last you much longer. So what we need is we need to be able to lift this thread without lifting this bobbin case off of my hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen this. That's lefty-loosey. So now I think we're pretty close on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you I can stand the bobbin case up. It won't come off of my hand. If I pull it fast, I can pull it up off of my hand. Stand it up, and pulling it fast will lift it up off of your hand. Now what you have is you have the bobbin thread tension set for almost any thread, and especially cotton threads. Cotton threads are kind of brittle, so you have to have the loosest tension that you can get without it looking sloppy. And so this is the easy way to do that for every kind of thread on every kind of quilt frame machine. And we thread our corkscrew back in, our little thread guide. And now, most of the time, everybody, when they go to put the bobbin case back in, they just put it in there. The problem is there's two things that you want to make sure that you do. You have this little groove right here, which is for this latch lever. You have two grooves, one above and one below. Not all machines will have those other two grooves. You want to make sure that this one goes in there. You also have this groove at the top here, right here at the top. And this groove has aligns with two pins that are right at the top of the inside of the bobbin case base. So you want to make sure that this goes in straight up. Okay, I snap it in. It's an audible sound that you hear, and you can ensure that you've got it all the way in. But you want to make sure, so you give it a little pull to make sure that the bobbin thread is not hung up inside there, and also that the bobbin case is all the way in. If it's not, what'll happen is you'll pull your bobbin case out. So you'll know it's not installed correctly. And if it's not installed correctly, you'll have an instant rat's nest if you try to start sewing with it. So place it in, listen for the click, give it a little pull. Now we have our bobbin thread tension set correctly. So now that we have our bobbin thread tension set correctly, we're going to discuss setting your upper thread tension correctly or easily. You'll always have your top and bobbin thread that will cross over each other. The top thread is going to cross under the bobbin thread, okay? And so if the loop is too far below the fabric, you won't use your bobbin case to change this because now you have it set correctly. You don't want to readjust it. That'll throw your balance point off. So you use your top thread and you tighten it to pull the knot up into the fabric. And if you're getting too much knot showing on top, you let it go down by loosening your upper thread tension. And so you're just using the upper thread tension to increase or decrease the tension to raise or lower the knot. It's the easiest way to understand what's happening to your machine. So if you're getting too much knot showing on the bottom and you want to adjust your tension, you're not going to turn it by just one little click, because you'll never know. It'll take you forever to find out if you're adjusting it the correct direction. What you'll want to do is go enough so that you have you can see an appreciable difference in the tension. So one, you know if you're going the correct direction or not. So you just remember what you're doing. So you always want to turn it a full turn. Don't pay attention to the numbers. Your wrist is going to give you the full turn motion. So I count this as 1, 2. So I'm going to go 2 full turns, and then I'm going to sew a short distance, and then I'm going to look at the bobbin side and the top side of the fabric. If my knot is coming up into the fabric like I expected it to, and it's where it's supposed to, then I don't need to adjust this anymore. If I've gone too far, I can always back this up 1 turn, loosen it 1 turn. So that means I will have only increased it 1 full turn. But always turn it full turns, and when you get close to where you want it, then you can fine tune this. And so you should only need to sew on a sample. It's best to always sew your sample with the quilt frame machine on the quilt frame and the quilt attached to the quilt frame. You'll actually get the appropriate correct tension setting. If you move a piece of fabric underneath down underneath the presser foot, that's not going to have the same effect, and you won't be able to adjust your tension as well. So, but you only need to go maybe 6 inches, 4 to 6 inches, and then look at the bottom. Sometimes it's a good idea to do little round circles. Just go little round circles around about a size of a nickel or a quarter, and then you can determine if you need to increase or decrease it. So remember, if you're getting if the knot is on the bottom side of the fabric too much, then you tighten the top, righty-tighty, to raise the knot. And if you're getting too much knot on the top side of the fabric, you're going to loosen this tension to allow the knot to go down. I hope that helps. Thanks for watching, and if you get anything useful out of this video, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.